2010, Columbus, Ohio. The smell of cut grass and gasoline. The hum of highway tires just beyond the backyard fence. Suburbia laid out like a spreadsheet. Clean driveways, cul-de-sacs, dull sameness. In a beige two-story house, with an American flag fluttering on the porch, 17-year-old Noah Barrett was slicing onions with a kind of reverence most teenagers reserve for video games or girlfriends. The house around him was quiet, save for the sound of ESPN murmuring from the living room. The kitchen was warm, filled with the smell of garlic butter and sautéing mushrooms. The boy moved with care, not yet the speed of a professional, but with intent. He tasted sauces like he was decoding poetry. He plated his food like it mattered. Because it did. Noah had started cooking at 12. At first, it was survival. His mother was always working late. His father didn't lift a finger in the kitchen. But soon, it became obsession. A YouTube spiral turned into hours of studying chefs like Daniel Hum and Dominique Crenn. He didn't just want to cook. He wanted to create. He wanted to command a dining room like a stage, every dish an act, every flavor a line of dialogue. But to Daniel Barrett, Noah's father, this wasn't ambition. It was embarrassment. Daniel had served in the Marines, now worked as an air traffic controller, a man of order, of procedure, of rules. And he expected his son to follow in the same lane. College, degree, government job, pension. Respectable. Predictable. Cooking is a hobby, not a career, he said once, cutting into a microwave dinner while Noah prepared fresh pasta beside him. Noah said nothing, just kept kneading dough, dusted in flour, pretending he didn't hear the disdain. Danielle, Noah's mother, was softer, kinder, but quiet in conflict. She loved her son, but she didn't challenge her husband. She watched, silently, as the distance grew between them, as every conversation between father and son became a courtroom cross-examination. So when Noah announced, one cold February night, that he wasn't applying to college, that he'd instead enrolled in a culinary institute in Chicago, Daniel snapped. In front of his wife. In front of his daughter, Emmy. In front of his own father, visiting from Michigan. You want to waste your damn life playing with food, he barked. You think that's worth 40 grand in tuition? What's next? You gonna learn how to juggle and join the circus? Noah didn't yell. He just stood there, face burning. I don't need your money, he said. I'll figure it out. Daniel laughed, cold and sharp. Good. Because you're not getting a cent. That was the night Noah left. He packed 2 duffel bags, grabbed his knife roll, and took the 2:30 a.m. Greyhound bus out of Columbus, the February wind biting at his ears like punishment. He didn't look back. Daniel didn't stop him. Danielle cried at the doorway. Emmy just stood there, hugging her knees, 14 and too confused to speak. Chicago was brutal. Noah rented a room in a roach-stained flat with 2 other culinary students and worked 30 hours a week as a prep cook while studying full-time. He sliced until his knuckles bled, burned his forearms on convection ovens, slept 3 hours a night, lived on eggs and black coffee. There were no phone calls from home, no birthday cards, no visits. But in the kitchen, he came alive. The roar of the line, the pressure, the choreography of chaos. It was church. He made mistakes, got screamed at, burned out, and got better. Fast. By the time he was 23, Noah had staged in 2 Michelin kitchens, spent 6 months working under a mad French genius in Lyon, and returned to the U.S. with fire in his blood. He didn't post about it, didn't boast. But somewhere, through some second cousin or family gossip, the word trickled back to Columbus. Daniel heard it one morning while shaving. Emmy, now in college, had mentioned Noah's restaurant in a group chat. Daniel didn't react, but he opened Instagram that night, typed in his son's name, and found the page. Relic, modern American tasting menu in Denver. Chef, Noah Barrett. Clean photos. Minimalist interiors. No clutter, no fake charm. Just food. Raw, intelligent, intense. 5 stars. James Beard whispers in the air. Noah hadn't invited him. Daniel didn't care. He booked a flight anyway. 7 years after that February night, he walked into his son's restaurant. No reservation. Just a name. And a camera in his coat pocket. Friday night, Denver, 7:42 p.m. The dining room of Relic was a cathedral of warmth and silence. All reclaimed wood, soft gold lighting, and tables spaced like whispers. Every detail mattered, from the hand-forged cutlery to the custom sound system that never rose above a breath. Table 7 was just clearing their 4th course when the hostess approached the kitchen window. "Chef," she said, leaning in. "There's a walk-in asking if he can say hello. Says he's your father." Noah blinked. His hands kept moving, plating roasted carrot and dashi glazed lamb. He didn't answer. He says he's here from Ohio. I didn't confirm a reservation under the name. Noah wiped his hands on his apron, looked at his Sue. Carmen, take the next 2 plates. He stepped out from the kitchen, slow, controlled, like walking into court. And there he was, Daniel Barrett. Still tall, still squared shoulders. Black sport coat, gray goatee now. He stood like a man accustomed to being noticed, chin slightly raised, scanning the interior like it was a dealership, not a dining room. Their eyes met. Daniel didn't smile. He grinned, like this was some homecoming. Noah, he said, stepping forward. Jesus, look at this place. Noah nodded once. What brings you here? Had business in Colorado Springs, Daniel lied. Figured I'd see what all the buzz is about. You got write-ups everywhere now, huh? He looked around again, appraising the atmosphere. Nice spot. Classy. Real professional. Then, casually, he pulled a phone from his coat. Mind if I get a picture? Just for the family. They'd love to see you. Chef coat and all. Noah stared at the device. He remembered standing in that kitchen in Ohio, the pasta machine clamped to the countertop, while his father mocked him in front of 3 generations. The same man now wanted a souvenir. A selfie with the son he hadn't called in 7 years. Of course, Noah said, his tone unreadable. But first, let's get you seated. Daniel blinked, surprised. I didn't make a reservation. That's all right. We've had a no-show. Table 9's open. Noah gestured to the far corner, near the restrooms. The least picturesque seat in the house. The hostess looked at him, confused for just a beat, then led Daniel over. Table 9. 1 menu. No wine pairing. No special treatment. Noah returned to the kitchen. Chef, Carmen asked, everything good? He didn't answer. He just called the next ticket. Daniel sat down, adjusting his coat, glancing over the minimalist menu like it was written in Morse code. He flagged the server. You guys got steak? Something basic? The server kept her training composure. The closest option would be the A5 short rib with bone marrow juice and smoked shallot puree. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You got any A1 back there? A polite smile was the only answer. From the pass, Noah watched. He watched as his father ate alone, 1 course at a time, increasingly restless between dishes. No special acknowledgement. No nod from the kitchen. No discount. Just another customer. The man who once said cooking was a waste of tuition, now silently chewing through an 11-course menu that cost more than his old monthly mortgage. On the 5th course, Daniel stood and approached the kitchen again. He leaned in slightly, as if speaking to a coworker. You're not going to come sit with me? At least say hi properly? Noah didn't look up from the foie gras he was searing. I'm working. A beat of silence passed between them. It wasn't tension, it was an absence. A vast, deliberate void. Daniel tried to chuckle. You always were dramatic. Noah didn't reply. Daniel returned to table 9. Finished dessert. Drank the coffee. Left no tip. But before leaving, he walked over to the window by the kitchen. The staff watched as he raised his phone once more and snapped a photo through the glass. Noah stood behind the pass, unreadable, arms crossed, eyes flat. The caption went up within minutes. Proud to see what my son's built. Legacy. Hashtag Barrett Blood. Hashtag Family First. Hashtag Noah Barrett. Noah didn't follow him. Didn't ask for a hug. Didn't say goodbye. He returned to the kitchen, called out. Fire 2 duck, 1 vegetarian sub. Let's move. Later that night, as the staff closed down, Carmen approached. Was that really your dad? Noah nodded, polishing the counter. He flew all the way out just to see the place? A long pause. No, Noah said finally. He flew out to be seen in it. Saturday morning. Denver. 6:43 a.m. The kitchen was still dark. Only the glow of the proofing lights and the gentle hum of the freezers filled the silence. Noah sat alone at table 5, sipping black coffee from a chipped mug that wasn't meant for guests. His phone was face down. He already knew what was on it. The photo had spread overnight. His father's post had picked up traction. Old co-workers from Ohio had liked it. An aunt had commented, "So proud of both of you. Reconciliation is beautiful." Noah laughed once, bitter and sharp. There was no reconciliation. There was no both. By noon, the calls began. First his cousin Sarah, then an old neighbor, then Emmy. Emmy, now 21, junior at Boston University. She'd grown into a voice of her own, sharper than anyone expected. She FaceTimed him during prep. Noah picked up, holding the phone low on the counter, letting the camera show only the top of his head. You saw it, he said. Of course I saw it, Emmy said. It's all over. Mom reposted it. Tagged you even. She did. She added a caption, Noah's doing amazing things. Family is forever. He winced. Emmy sighed. You okay? I'm fine, he said. Then, after a pause, I treated him like any other customer. Damn right you did. There was a pause. You know he's telling people he paid for culinary school. Noah looked up, genuinely surprised. What? Yeah. Said he sacrificed a lot to get you where you are. Mom didn't correct him. Noah exhaled, slow and silent. 7 years. No call. No support. No loan. And now he was rewriting the story. Classic Daniel Barrett. You should say something, Emmy said. To who? To anyone. Yourself. Instagram. Interview. I don't know. Noah shook his head. I didn't build this to argue with ghosts. But the ghosts weren't done with him. That evening, a DM arrived. From Daniel. Sorry if I caught you at a bad time yesterday. Just wanted to let you know I'm proud of you. Even if we didn't see eye to eye back then. Let me know if you want to get lunch while I'm still in town. No pressure. Noah stared at the message for a long time. No, I was wrong. No, I'm sorry for what I said. Just a soft, palatable rewrite. Something he could show people. A conversation for optics, not truth. He locked his phone. Sunday brunch was packed. Couples in Patagonia fleeces. Tech bros comparing hiking apps. A retired judge who always ordered the caviar toast but never tipped. Noah worked silently. Focused. But the staff felt the chill. Carmen kept glancing toward him like he might combust. After service, she handed him a newspaper. Denver Post. Lifestyle section. An article titled, The Return of Fine Dining. Chef Noah Barrett brings fire and precision to 5 points. It was a good piece. Precise. Honest. Focused on technique, on vision. But one line made him stop. Raised in Ohio by a military father, Barrett's discipline in the kitchen reflects a structured upbringing and a work ethic learned at home. That was the lie. Right there, the quiet kind. Noah stared at the line for a while, then took out a pen, crossed it out. Underneath, he wrote. Learned it despite him, not from him. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat in the kitchen with the lights off, sipping leftover wine and listening to the soft metallic ticking of the cooling oven. Daniel had been gone for 40 hours, but he was still in the room. Still in the muscle memory. Still in the throat. Noah thought of every time he'd come home late, covered in sweat and fryer grease, only to see a message from his father that read, Hope you're figuring out this fantasy fast. You can still apply for real work. Or the voicemail on his 21st birthday. A man provides. That's what he does. This kitchen dream. One day you'll understand the difference between building a future and playing pretend. Now that same man wanted a photo. A seat at the table. A legacy. Monday. Another DM. Hey. Sorry to bother. Just wondering if you'd be open to visiting home sometime. Grandma's asking about you. Be good to get a proper picture. Something for the hallway. You know? Proper picture. For the hallway. Noah didn't reply. He opened the restaurant's private guest list system, filtered by last name, and set Barrett, Daniel, to blacklist. Later that week, Emmy called again. He says you're being cruel, she said. Did he say why I might be? He said you're holding a grudge. I'm holding a boundary. He doesn't know the difference. That's not my job to teach him. She was quiet. Then, you ever gonna come back to Columbus? Noah didn't answer right away. He looked around the kitchen, the space he'd built, the stainless steel altar of his own design. His legacy, not inherited, earned. I don't think so, he said. 2 weeks later, Denver Magazine published a feature piece. Legacy on a plate. Inside the rise of Chef Noah Barrett. 10 pages. Full spread. Black and white portraits of Noah plating duck beneath moody lighting. A write-up about his childhood, his brutal early years, the nights sleeping behind a prep station in Chicago. The journalist had been thorough. Too thorough. Because one paragraph stuck out like a bloodstain. Noah, whose father served in the military and instilled in him a no-excuses mindset, credits a strict upbringing for his drive and discipline. He hadn't said that. In the interview, he dodged all questions about his father. Had offered only, I left home early. Had to figure out how to build structure for myself. But editors love symmetry. They love the myth of fathers handing down strength like blueprints. It sells better than estrangement. That morning, his phone blew up. Cousins, neighbors, old classmates. Even a former high school teacher messaged. Proud of you. Just read the Denver Mag piece. You and your dad must be so close now. Tell him thanks for raising a winner. Noah didn't reply. He stared at his phone until it dimmed, and the reflection of his own face vanished into black. Then came the email. From Daniel. Subject, great press, and a thought. Saw the article, looks amazing. You're really getting up there now. Some of the guys from work reached out. You made quite the impression. I was thinking, maybe I come out next month? We could do a photo shoot, something for a father-son feature. People love that kind of thing. I've got a friend in PR who could pitch it. Think about it. Could be a good legacy piece for both of us. A legacy piece. For both of us. Noah closed the email. Didn't reply. Not immediately. Instead, he forwarded it to Emmy. She read it and sent back. You good? I'm good, he wrote back. What are you gonna do? Exactly what he taught me. Which is, make a plan. Execute it clean. Saturday night. The restaurant was packed. As always. At 8:12 p.m., Carmen approached with a tight face. He's here. Noah didn't ask who. He knew. Reservation? No. Table. He's already seated at the bar. Brought 2 men with him. They're dressed corporate. One of them's carrying a small camera rig. Noah paused. Slowly took off his apron. Washed his hands. Then walked out. Daniel Barrett was holding court. Leaning forward. Laughing too loud. Already halfway into a glass of Merlot he hadn't paid for. The 2 men beside him wore PR smiles. Shiny. Fake. Eager. Noah walked up, not smiling. Daniel spotted him, stood. There he is. Chef Barrett in the flesh. The other men rose, one with a small mic in hand. Mind if we get a quick photo? Dan said this would be cool. Just something candid for an internal campaign. Noah didn't blink. Didn't even glance at the camera. I need to speak with you, he said, eyes locked on Daniel. Alone. Daniel hesitated. But the charm cracked a little. He followed Noah to the far end of the bar, just behind the service curtain. I don't do staged family moments, Noah said flatly. Daniel raised his hands. Hey, no pressure. I just thought. You're not here for me. You're here for them. Noah nodded toward the PR guys. You want to rewrite a story you weren't part of. Daniel's smile dropped, ever so slightly. I was part of it. You wouldn't be this driven if I hadn't. Noah cut him off. You didn't shape my discipline. You tested it. There's a difference. Daniel's voice hardened. So what? You're going to pretend I wasn't your father? I'm not pretending anything. I'm just not performing it for your feed. Silence. You told me this was a joke, Noah said, voice low. That it was a fantasy. You laughed in my face. That kitchen in Ohio. I remember the way you looked at me when I said I didn't want college. Like I'd failed you already. Daniel said nothing. I left with nothing. You didn't call. You didn't ask if I was alive. Now you want me for your image? A photo with the son you didn't raise? Daniel stiffened. I'm trying to make peace. You're trying to steal credit. Then came the final blow. I'm not banning you, Daniel, Noah said. Daniel blinked. You're not. No. You can still come here. You can book a table. Like anyone else. Daniel frowned, confused. But you'll never be invited. You'll never skip the line. You'll never sit in my kitchen or take pictures for your wall. You're not a patriarch here. You're just another guest. Noah walked away, returned to the kitchen, called the next ticket. The men at the bar waited awkwardly. Daniel didn't explain. Eventually, they left without paying. The hostess cleared the bar like nothing had happened. Carmen didn't ask what was said, but she did smile, quietly, when she saw the camera crew walk out empty-handed. That night, Noah posted a story. Black screen. White text. There are guests. There are ghosts. And there are those who never earn the seat they're asking for. No names. No drama. Just truth. Monday morning. The PR men never followed up. No reposts. No public backlash. Just silence. The sound of a photo that didn't happen. Of a man walking out of a restaurant without the narrative he came to steal. Noah arrived early as always. Stood in the kitchen doorway for a long time, just watching the stainless steel gleam under the prep lights. No trace of Daniel remained. And yet, something had shifted. Not like a burden dropped. More like a final door sealed shut. By midweek, the ripple began. His mother called. He let it go to voicemail. She called again. He waited 2 hours before picking up. Hi, she said, her voice soft and cautious. Hi, Mom. I saw what happened. He told me, some of it. Some. She hesitated. He said you humiliated him. I didn't say anything that wasn't true. Silence. Are you angry with me? She asked. Noah stared at the prep table. I'm not angry, he said. I'm just tired of being edited out of my own story. Another pause. I didn't mean to take his side. I didn't know what else to do. You could have said, he did it without us. That's all. Just once. Her breath caught. Sharp, fragile. I'm proud of you, she said finally. Even if I never said it before. I know, Noah said. That's why this call matters more than his photo ever could. Then Emmy called. Her tone was different. Firmer. Protective. You nuked him, she said, half laughing, half awed. I didn't nuke anyone. You executed a public emotional airstrike without raising your voice. He's been sulking. Told Mom he's done reaching out. Says you humiliated him in front of his friends. They weren't friends. They were props. He's telling people you banned him from the restaurant. I didn't. Emmy laughed. I know. That's the best part. She grew quiet for a moment. Do you feel better? Noah leaned against the back wall of the walk-in cooler, the chill seeping through his shirt. Not better, he said, but more clear. The city noticed, too. People started referencing the story, even though there was no formal statement, no name attached. A blog post surfaced titled, When Blood Isn't a Reservation, on boundaries and success. It speculated heavily, quoted the anonymous Instagram story, paired it with a photo from the first visit, the one Daniel had posted weeks earlier. Suddenly, a narrative existed, but not one Daniel controlled. Noah didn't comment, didn't clarify, didn't ride the wave. He just kept showing up, calling tickets, perfecting plates, polishing the bar, teaching interns how to keep their heads in the fire. 2 months passed. Noah received a letter. Handwritten. No return address. Postmarked from Columbus. Inside, one photograph. No words. The picture showed a young Noah at 15 in the old Ohio kitchen, stirring a pot, face full of concentration. In the background, Daniel stands behind him, blurry, arms crossed, watching. Noah stared at it for a long time, then folded it and placed it in the drawer by the host's stand. No frame, no display, just a private memory, buried where it couldn't be misunderstood. Relic kept thriving. Food and Wine named him one of the top 10 chefs under 30. A new tasting menu launched in spring, more delicate, more introspective. Each dish was layered, methodical, restrained. Critics called it emotionally controlled cuisine. Those who knew smiled at the wording. One night, near closing, an old man wandered in. Lost, apologetic, clearly confused. We're closed, the hostess said gently. Can I call someone for you? He looked up. My son used to cook. Thought maybe I'd see him. What's his name? She asked. Not important, he said. He doesn't talk to me anymore. Noah, overhearing, stepped quietly into the foyer. Watched the man for a beat, not Daniel. Just another story. Another echo. He said nothing, just nodded at the hostess. Get him a glass of water, he said. Let him sit a minute. That's what healing looked like now. Not big speeches. Not dramatic moments. Just choices. Quiet ones. 6 months later, Denver rolled into fall, golden leaves like spilled coins across the sidewalk outside Relic. The dinner crowd thickened earlier now, as shadows grew long by 5 p.m. Inside, the kitchen hummed. Steady, warm, controlled. Noah stood at the pass, calling dishes with an even tone. His crew moved around him in seamless rhythm. Not soldiers, not disciples, just professionals who believed. The line had grown stronger, leaner, more trusting. Not one person on staff had ever met his father, and none ever would. Daniel Barrett never returned. No calls, no emails, no second stunts with cameras or carefully phrased messages. For a while, Noah expected it. Another push, another play for relevance. But silence held. Not the silence of waiting, the silence of resignation. It was over. Fully. Finally. He had enforced the boundary without anger, without spectacle, just clarity. And clarity, it turned out, was fertile soil. With the pressure of legacy off his shoulders, Noah began creating more freely. A new fall menu appeared. Dishes less rigid, more playful. Smoked corn ice cream with chili threads. Duck lacquered in tamarind and burnt orange. Pumpkin consommé served in a hollowed-out gourd. Guests noticed. Reviewers noticed. He didn't cook to prove anything anymore. He cooked because he loved the art. Because he could finally breathe inside his own work. Personal life followed. Slowly, carefully, he started seeing someone. Claire, a sommelier from a neighboring wine bar. Kind eyes, dry humor. She asked about his past once. Just once. He told her the truth, without venom. She nodded. Didn't try to fix it. Just said, good for you. Walking out and never asking to be let back in. He didn't explain further. He didn't need to. His mother visited in November. They sat together on the back patio of Relic after hours, sipping wine beneath patio heaters, wrapped in light jackets and layers of unspoken history. Danielle had aged. Softer eyes now. She apologized, not for the past, but for her silence during it. I should have said something. Years ago, when he laughed at you, when you left. Noah just listened. I didn't know how to balance loving him and protecting you, she said. You didn't have to protect me, Noah said, swirling the wine. Just tell me I wasn't crazy. She nodded. tears clinging to her lashes. You weren't. They clinked glasses. That was enough. Emmy graduated in December. She sent a selfie in her cap and gown with a caption. For the record, I told everyone I was Chef Barrett's sister. He replied with a single emoji, graduation cap, and a Venmo for $1,000 labeled, proud of you. Use it on something stupid. By January, Relic was fully booked for 3 months out. Noah had started training 2 sous chefs to eventually rotate in as co-heads, freeing up his evenings. A long-held goal. He began writing again. Not memoirs, not op-eds, just recipes with stories. Tiny windows into moments. The first soup I ever made that wasn't from a can. What I cooked the night I left Ohio. The dessert I couldn't afford to make during school, but make now for staff every Sunday. He never named names. But the subtext was clear. This was mine. This is mine. No one gets to rewrite it. One night, Claire asked him a question. If he called and apologized, really apologized, would you let him in? Noah didn't answer right away. He thought of the kitchen table in Columbus, of his own suitcase under the coat rack, of 7 years of silence, and then a camera. He looked at her. No, he said. Not even for closure? I already closed the door. She nodded. Good. Legacy, Noah had come to understand, wasn't inherited. It wasn't handed down with medals or war stories or family names. Legacy was what you protected, what you let in, what you refused to. At the new year, Relic released a reservation-only supper series. 16 seats, 7 courses, 1 theme. Each menu told a story. Departure, heat, silence, inheritance. Guests loved the mystery, the poetry of it. They didn't know which dish meant what, but Noah did. Especially one course. A small, clean, elegant plate. Burnt citrus, cold steelhead trout, shaved fennel. Served deliberately, without garnish. Just like table 9 that night. 5 years later, the Denver skyline had changed. More glass, more towers. The old neighborhoods gentrified beyond recognition. But Relic remained, not untouched, but unshaken. It had become a cornerstone. Still intimate, still sharp-edged. Now with a second location in Santa Fe. A line of seasonal sauces carried by boutique stores. Noah's name was no longer niche. It was canon. In chef circles, his restraint was legend. But he'd never written a memoir. Never gone on a Food Network show. Never spoken his father's name in an interview. He didn't need to. Claire had moved in. They were older now, but still private. No rings. No pressure. When asked how they met, she usually said, he overcooked my scallops on a tasting menu once. I never let it go. He smiled every time. His mother passed away quietly one spring. Peaceful. Cancer, but fast. Emmy flew in. Noah handled everything. The hospice, the will, the cremation. She had left him 2 things in a small box. A photo of him at 17, standing in their old kitchen, holding a cracked porcelain bowl of soup. And a single note. I wish I'd spoken louder. You deserved it. But you still became everything you needed to be. He kept the photo. Burned the note. Not out of anger, but because it was already understood. His father died a year later. Stroke. Alone. Emmy texted him, he's gone. Noah stared at the screen for a long time. Didn't cry. Didn't speak. Didn't feel triumph. Just the clean stillness of finality. The funeral was in Columbus. Noah didn't attend. He sent flowers. Nothing expensive. Neutral colors. White and green. Nothing red. No roses. No fire. The card read simply, rest well. And B. Emmy understood. No questions asked. On the 10th anniversary of Relic, he hosted a single dinner. Private. 1 table. No press. No photos. Only a select few friends, staff, family. Claire. Emmy. Carmen, now executive chef of the Santa Fe branch. His first investor. His dishwashing manager from Chicago. 7 courses. No theme. No labels. At the end, he rose to speak. Not long, just a few words. 10 years ago, I opened this place not to prove a point. I opened it to cook the way I needed to, without noise, without apology. I don't know if that's brave or selfish. Maybe both. But it gave me a life. And now, I feed it back to others. Plate by plate. Quietly. Deliberately. Thank you for letting me build something that didn't have to come from anyone else's blueprint. He raised a glass. No one clapped. No one needed to. They drank. They smiled. Later that night, when the tables were cleared and candles burned low, Noah walked into the back room and opened the old drawer near the host's stand. Inside, untouched for 5 years, was the photograph his father had mailed. Young Noah stirring sauce in the background, Daniel's arms crossed, watching. He stared at it. Really looked. Then, For the first time, he smiled. Not in forgiveness. In finality. Then he folded the photo in half, placed it in an envelope, and wrote on the front, "Return to sender." He sealed it, left it there, and turned off the lights. The restaurant emptied. The night cooled. The world kept going. But somewhere in that dark, closed kitchen, a legacy remained. Not inherited. Chosen.